Jim Weida, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah.
We're going to talk virtual orchestra today, okay? What we mean by virtual orchestra is our instruments that have the silver panels on them all became virtual orchestras, okay? And there's some features that we find on those that sometimes get a little overlooked. Some of these things you're going to know without question. And other things, maybe you'll find a new twist to what we have on these features. And whenever I hold a workshop like this, it's always informal. So please, if you have a question, please pipe up. Let me know if you have a question, because someone will benefit from that. There is no such thing as a stupid or dumb question, okay? So don't worry about asking questions at all. I love it. That really helps me know where I need to go with this. One of the first things we're going to talk about is quick picks. You know, before we had separate buttons. We had solo buttons and orchestral buttons. And quick picks changed that altogether. Before you were limited, you could only have, say, a trombone or a piano as an orchestral sound. It's either do that or go through a bunch of scrolling to find a sound. Now, with quick picks, you can take those sounds and virtually put them anywhere on the instrument you want with quick picks. And the way it works, it's pretty simple. When you touch the button quick picks, it floods the screen full of sounds and allows you to place those sounds anywhere on that instrument you want it. Now, we've renamed some of the sounds over some of the buttons over the years. Like we always called those Genius buttons before. Now in the current product, we don't have a unit that even says Genius on it anymore. They all say Sounds. And so Genius and Sound is the same exact button. Okay, there's no difference. The way it works with quick picks, we touch the quick picks button, and as you can see on the screen there, this is the same screen I have up here, it will actually show you a listing of sounds. Well, when you touch that sound, whatever that given sound is, it then is on the end of your finger. So if I go to, say, a piano sound, when I just touch piano, that piano sound is now on the end of my finger. All right? So the next place I touch that says sound, or Genius, depending on your instrument, that's where the sound is going to go. So if I elect to put it up here on my upper sound, up here, my piano, I'll have it on the upper keyboard. If I want to change sounds, like say to accordion, just touch the name of the sound and the sound button, and that's where it will go. But I can put that sound anywhere on the instrument I want. I could put it in my bass, I could put it even in the orchestra, and so you can move it anywhere you want. Now on occasion, if you should happen to touch a sound like that, piano, and go to say orchestra 1, you might not hear piano. And the reason why you will not hear piano is because there's other sounds on. Okay, so what I mean by that is if I have my upper keyboard on and a couple more sections on, I hear a piano in there, but it's amongst all the other sounds. If you want to isolate it so you only hear that one sound, you'll have to shut off the other sections so that you can hear that piano sound. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. So with quick picks, I can touch and scroll through different pages and find whatever sound I want. Now, here's what's really neat, is I can take even my bass player or my style and change it just by touching quick picks. Here's a popular style, smooth foxtrot. You're going to hear saxophones and trumpets, clarinets, all kinds of sounds in there. So now I can change the whole feel of that style just by using quick picks. If I want to change my bass player to say a piano player, touch piano. It's on the end of my finger now. And now I touch auto bass. With the piano in the background. Or I can even change the whole orchestra just by touching piano and coming over to Work Plus. So it's going to play through the whole orchestra, even my fill-ins. Or let's say I want accordion in my orchestra. Just touch accordion and Work Plus. And instantly have an accordion band. And it'll stay with my fill-ins and it'll also stay with my endings. Kind of a fun feature to use. And then, of course, the factory has given you these sounds. Piano, accordion, vibes, so forth. But if you find that there's particular sounds that you like to use yourself, you can go to a feature at the bottom of that screen that says My Picks. When you touch My Picks, it gives you your own personal screen there to choose from. So when you turn it on, we've got some strange sounds here, like animal, dog. What we did is chose sounds from all over the alphabet, so you don't have as far to scroll. Okay, so if I go to this animal dog, of course I could put that anywhere I want. I can even put it up on my keyboard. But what's really nice about this, you don't have to do anything special to change those sounds. You don't have to touch the memorize button. You don't have to save any of that. All you do is touch the name of the sound and scroll to find the sound that you want it to be. So let's say I want banjo in there. Well, I can leave it, shut off the instrument, come back tomorrow, go back to My Picks, and banjo is still there. I don't lose it. Okay? So now that becomes a quick pick. So when I touch banjo, and anywhere on the instrument where it says sound, it will go there. So it comes in handy. It makes it a lot easier to find those sounds. So rather than having to scroll, you just go to your quick picks button, go to the sound you want, and away you go. Now on the Grand Marquee, we have 2 pages of My Picks. So you have a total of 16 My Picks to choose from. So quite a few. And then the quick picks themselves, you've got several screens. There's 1, 2, 3 pages full of sounds. And you can put those sounds anywhere on the instrument you want at any time. Okay? Make any sense? Okay, good. Make sure we're all on the same page. Another fun feature is the virtuoso and the grand virtuoso. Now, in order for the virtuoso to work, it has to know what key you're playing in. All right? So, in other words, you have to have on MCS or the easy button, or the computer in here will not know what chord you're playing. So, if you don't have the easy button on and you just reach up and touch this, it just plays an arpeggio. I mean, it just plays a chromatic scale. But if I put on the easy button, it knows I'm playing a chord and it will play that chord for me. And it works the same on both of them. Of course, you can change sounds. You can tell the virtuoso where you want to grab those sounds and different patterns. Like right now, it defaults to this right here, which is just an arpeggio, okay? Let's go to a different sound here, other than a banjo. It defaults to that. But if you touch the virtuoso button, it'll actually give you options. So on the screen, when you have a grand virtuoso, it shows you options for the left side and the right side. So you can program them differently depending on what you want to do with it. Right now, it's taking the sound from the golden harp on both of them. But if I just touch where there's a box there. So right here I have a box that says normal. That normal is my regular arpeggio. And then skip is another pattern. It does something like this. Okay? So you can change that. And you can change where that sound comes from. So you can go from normal to skip pattern. Right now it's taking the sound off the golden harp. So whatever sound you should happen to have in the golden harp, which happens to be vibraphone, I can change it to whatever sound I want. It could be violin. Any sound that's on the instrument, you can put on there. Vocals. Now, you can also take sounds not only from the golden harp sound, but also the sounds off your upper keyboard. So whatever you happen to have playing up here, which is piano in this case, it will take that sound from the upper keyboard and put it on their virtuoso. Or I could tell it to take the sound from the lower right split, whatever happens to be down there. Let's put something different down there. Let's go with, say, a flute. Okay? So lower right just grabs whatever sound happens to be down here. So you can set these up differently. You could take sounds from your golden harp here with a normal pattern, maybe a skip pattern, take the sounds from your lower right here. Now, what's really cool is there's one more option to the virtuoso. You can touch one more time where it says skip, and it will go to fake it. Okay? Now, fake it is a unique feature because in the middle of the song, if you wanted to do some professional improv, you can reach up and touch that anytime that you want, and it will do fake it without touching the fake it button. So I'll give you an example. We'll grab a style here. I'm going to go with Trios Romanticos is the style I picked. Now I'm going to go to my fake it option, tell it that I want to use the sound from my upper keyboard, and I'm not my fake it, I'm sorry, my virtuoso button. Tell it I want to take the sound from the upper keyboard and fake it. Okay? So I can play anything I want down here. Pattern, fake it. particular notes on this virtuoso. I'm tapping anywhere that I want. Okay, so don't feel that you have to select certain notes. You can grab anywhere on this strip that you want, and it will do. It will do a fake it pattern for you. And it all has to do with what style you have turned on at the time, what fake it pattern it will use. So if you're playing some country, it'll do a fake it pattern in country. Or if you have on a bossa nova, it'll do a Latin type feel on your fake it pattern. Okay? Any questions about virtuoso at all? Neat feature. It's a lot of fun. Okay. Cascade, that's one of our newer features. Cascade, what it does is it uses the harmony, whatever harmony you have on. Okay, so if you have two-part harmony, it'll use two notes in that harmony. If you have three-part harmony, obviously three notes. All the way to block harmony, which uses 5 notes. And what it's doing is it's doing a professional trick. A lot of professionals, when they play, they might use several notes at one time on the right hand, but they don't generally play all that way all the time. They'll play a single note and then add harmony as they're playing. That's what Cascade does. It gives you that little professional touch where it'll actually add the harmony a little at a time. So I'm just going to go grab a sound here. Oop. Go with, I'm going to use country swing. Keep grabbing the wrong spot. There we go. And we'll get this sound. Now normally, what comes up is a country harmony. I'm going to turn on, all I did is touch the upper country, and this screen comes up. And I'm going to choose instead block harmony. Okay, because that's going to give me 5 notes when I use block harmony. Normally, if I use block harmony, it's going to sound something like this. Okay, so it's playing all the harmony at one time. If I put on Cascade, what it's going to do is introduce those harmony notes one at a time. So it'll sound like this. Another harmony, it will use fewer notes. Block is the most, 5. But we could go to something like, say, 3-part open harmony. That's the only harmony on a Lowry where it'll actually play harmony above your melody note. Does that make sense? Okay. So you have different options with that Cascade where you can actually use 2-part, 3-part, 4-part harmony, whatever you want, but it'll introduce a note one at a time for your harmony. And if you go to your category presets, we've actually got a set of category presets called Cascades, and they're already set up for you. So you don't have to do anything but just touch one of these presets that say Cascade. And you'll notice there's on that preset, there's a little @ sign in there. And those are scattered throughout the whole instrument. So even when you use some of your setups, some of these setups here with your rhythms, you'll see those scattered throughout all of your setups. It will automatically put some cascades in there for you. So you'll see that little @ sign. Where it says, say, for example, number 1, piano and string, it has a little @ sign next to it. And you don't have to use a style to use cascade. You can actually turn on your easy button and it will play along with your easy button, and you can change how fast your cascade will cascade by touching tempo. So you can increase your tempo and it'll go faster. So cascades can really do a lot for that right hand. It makes you sound more professional. Away from the left hand, we'll go to the right hand on our MCS. MCS stands for Music Chord System. We came up with MCS back in 1980. And what it is, it's the ability to play a chord with one finger, or you can play a 3-finger chord. Any 3-finger chord players here? Okay, all right. MCS loves you as much as it loves a 1-finger player, okay? It doesn't matter whether you're playing 1 finger or full chord. MCS works the same way. What it does is it figures out the chord that you're playing in, and whatever orchestra that you have on or chord you're playing, the computer will figure out what you intend. So if you touch a single C note, or you play a G, C, and E, it looks at it as exactly the same. The computer doesn't care. Well, we took MCS and kind of put it on steroids, and MCS Plus does some amazing things. MCS Plus Jazz 2 hands takes a 1-finger chord or a 3-finger chord and makes it a 6-finger chord and spreads it out all over and throws in some fancy chords. So if you are using some easier to play chords, say a regular C, F, G, that sort of thing, what it will do with a C chord is it might make it a C suspended 4th or a C with an added 9th to give you this really fancy jazz chord. So with 1 note, it sounds like you're playing 6 notes and spreads it out. So if I turn on my easy button, here's what I normally would get with that sound. Okay, now I add MCS Plus and go to jazz, it turns it into that chord. So from there, 3-finger chord to this chord. Your virtuoso playing to a whole new level just by touching that button. Because you're hearing 6 notes in that left hand. It's doing the impossible. Because it's not, I didn't see anyone walk in here with 6 fingers with a 2-octave stretch. You know, that's what you need. You have to have 6 fingers with a 2-octave stretch in order to play those chords. And it does it for you automatically. So it's pretty amazing how that works. Now, that jazz configuration on MCS Plus, that's throwing in all those extra notes for you. The added 9ths and suspended 4ths, so on, to give you jazzy sounding chords. Now, if you're playing music that's not jazzy, okay, you'll want to go to to 2 hands, normal 2 hands. And you can use that on virtually every style of music there is. You can play it with country, Latin, big band, anything that you want. And it's going to give you a 6-note chord, and it's just going to take 2 chords and put them on top of each other. That's what it's going to do. So it'll play a chord down here and one up here for you automatically. There's a couple of them that are really kind of amazing, like blues. I've always wanted to be able to play the blues, but you've got to play these bluesy chords, and they're pretty fancy chords. So it takes your regular chord that sounds like this and turns it into a blues chord. Changes my virtuoso on the blues. So I get a blues virtuoso then, because it's using that bluesy chord. So each one of these modes will affect your virtuoso. Our 2est new modes on the Grand Marquis are light and open. And so we kind of went the opposite way. Instead of making the chord sound bigger, we're trying to make it sound a little smaller, because sometimes you want a light sound. And this open one here is very pretty. What it's doing is it's taking one of the notes of your 3-finger chord and moving it from here to way up here. So it sounds like an open theater chord. And so it sounds like this. Normally, your chord would sound like this. And it turns that chord into this sound. It takes that note and brings it up. There's normal. Here's MCS Plus open. With using your chords. Now you can use this with styles at any time you want. You don't have to play it on its own. I just did that so it's a little easier to hear when there's not a style playing, to differentiate the difference. But you can use those with styles anytime that you want. Just reach up there and touch the MCS Plus button, and you'll get those extended chords. The next part, extended fill-ins. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this style. Okay, is that one of those styles that you play 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? Most people say no. Well, one reason is because it's one of our first styles that we developed. We didn't have as much memory then. So it's about a 2-measure style. So it plays dun 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 da 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 dun dun dun, and it starts all over again. Dun 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 da 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 dun dun. It's very repetitious. And the reason why is because we didn't have the memory to have these big, huge styles. So now we have all this extra memory. We can make our fill-ins last longer. So some of our fill-ins now are up to 48 measures long. So if you go to touch your FX and keep holding, it will do a drum break. But if you press and hold and keep holding, it will actually just keep going. It'll change. There's actually 48 measures of fill. So you can actually play a whole song with some of these fill-ins. It's amazing how that works. And I'll give you an example of a couple of them here real quick. One of them is Downtown Rock. It's pretty neat how this works. As you're playing, in the original recording of Downtown, it actually slows down the rhythm style in the middle of the song. If I put on the FX, it'll actually slow down the rhythm style for me as I'm playing. So it sounds like this. So you might want to try some of your rhythms as you hold them. If you just touch, it's going to do a drum break. But if you press and hold, they keep going on quite a bit longer. So all the styles we come up with for several models back now have longer FX. So if you hold on to it, we call them extended FX. It'll actually play more. Another good example of one that will play a long time, it actually has 48 measures of FX, is Snowing, the sound Snowing. It's designed for the song Snowbird, and on the original recording of Snowbird, there were strings in there. So you can play the whole song and not hear too many strings, but then when you put on your FX, you can just leave your FX on and play the entire song with the FX, and you hear all the strings from the original recording. So it sounds like this. And you just move your foot over and just leave it there. Another handy feature is this one. It's called the fill start end feature. And a lot of these styles have really long intros and endings. So, for example, they're great. There's no doubt about that. But sometimes you don't want to sit through a long intro, right? Well, if you just go to fill, start, end, it will throw in a drum break real quick and you can just jump right into your song. Same thing with your ending. You want to get out of the ending real quick, fill, end. And so you can get some really great sounds there. And it works on every single style on the instrument. Doesn't matter which one you go to. So they're a lot of fun. Let's say even something like Charleston. There's some great fill-ins on all these styles. But rather having to listen to a long intro, you just go to fill and start and end. This is a neat feature. Do any of you ever worry about your timing at all? Yeah. Yeah, I get that reaction. Doesn't matter where I go. Doesn't matter. I get that reaction. Yeah, I won't worry about it. Okay, I'm going to give you a lecture right now, okay, on timing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't. You are the conductor of this orchestra, okay? And when a conductor conducts an orchestra, he's the one who sets how fast you're going to go, when you're going to go, right? It doesn't matter. Just feel the music. That's all you have to do. Don't worry about your timing. People get hung up on that. And a lot of times I hear people say, well, I play too slow, right? Well, don't worry about how fast you're playing either. Because music changes. How many times have you heard a song that was introduced years ago that was slow? And then today they speed it up twice as fast as it was originally, okay? So, if you're playing a song slower than what you're used to hearing on the radio, it means you're a trendsetter, right? That's what that means, right? You're a trendsetter. So don't worry about how fast you're going. Now, if you're going to play with the London Symphony Orchestra and they want you to come in on beat, you better be counting. You know, that better happen, right? But are any of you going to play with the London Symphony Orchestra? Yeah. I'm not either. So I don't really worry about that. You know, it's not something that I have to worry about. So, but as hobbyists playing these virtual orchestras, you are the conductor of the orchestras. So don't let that be a hang-up to you about timing. But we do have a tool for you that's really nice. It's really a fun feature. It works on virtually every single style on the instrument. Doesn't matter which one you go to. And it will really makes it a lot easier to play. Because on the screen, it actually has what we call the count. And so it will actually count it out for you. It's over here on the left, underneath your locks button, very far left, and it will help you out with your counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, style, and it'll actually count it right out for you. This 1, 2, 3, 4. You got a 24-hour teacher there. MP3 recording and sync. Now, the way this works is we have the regular Lowry recorder in these instruments, and they're not tough to use. You got 3 buttons you deal with: record, stop, play. Okay. So if you want to record, obviously you're going to touch record, right? And you can record the regular Lowry format, or you can record as an MP3. Now what's really nice about that is now the MP3 is a more portable way of recording. So what I mean by that, it's on your stick, on your USB stick. A lot of cars now have a place to put your USB, and you can listen to your MP3s in the car. So you can record directly, and it will record, and you can just play it in the car. Or you can put it in a computer, it'll play on the computer. You can also fire up an email, and take that recording that you did and email the song to a friend, and they can listen to it from the email. Pretty cool setup. And it's easily done. You just touch, to make an MP3, you touch audio, and then record, and it turns it into an MP3 audio recording. There's also an input on the instruments. We call it an 1/8" stereo input over here to the right side. You can take any device that makes sound and plug it in there and record it as an MP3. So what I mean by that is, do any of you have cassette players at home? Or how about, yeah, I've seen a couple heads shake.
Or a record deck.
Or a record player?
Or gramophone.
Okay.
Reel to reel.
Reel to reel. Okay, you can take your reel to reel, you can take your record player, you can take 8-track, you can take cassette. All right, anything with a headphone, go directly into there and use the sound system off this instrument. And it sounds incredible, just incredible. Now here's the next big bonus. All those vinyl records you have at home, you can put them all on one stick now, because as it's playing, you touch MP3 record, it turns that phonograph into an MP3. So that's a pretty neat feature. You can also play along with it. So let's say you really like Hank Williams, all right? And, oh, You're Cheating Heart. So you can listen to Hank play and sing You're Cheating Heart. You can play along with him, and it will record you and him. Then what you do is you put that on a stick, and you email it to your friends, and you say, hey, I played with Hank Williams last night. Right? And you really did. You really did. So that's kind of a fun feature. But MP3 record is awesome. Like I said, not difficult. You can do it 2 different ways. You can record straight MP3 just by touching the audio button. But if you use the regular Lowry recorder, you don't touch the audio button. Just go ahead and press record. It turns it into a Lowry recording. And then there's a screen that says sync. You touch sync, and it turns that Lowry recording into an MP3 later, once you get it to where you want it. The beauty of MP3 too is that when we had the CD drives, if you made a mistake on a CD, you had to throw the whole CD away. You couldn't erase the song. Now with this system, you can actually erase the mistakes away, and you don't have to worry about burning it or anything. It's just there. Okay. Pro Play. We have a section called Pro Play. Fake It and Key Glide. These are wonderful tools. Key Glide is a blessing to many because they don't like to use their foot on the glide pedal, right? Because sometimes you gun the volume and it's hard to get it at the right time. It actually makes more sense because if you're thinking about a note that you want to glide, you're thinking about the note that you're touching. You're not thinking about your foot, right? So this way, all you do is just think about the note that you want to glide and press a little harder, and it will actually glide that note. Just press a little harder, and it will glide for you. And it's called Key Glide over here in the Pro Play section. Fake It has come a long way. When Fake It first came out, you had to manually wiggle your fingers to get Fake It to work. Now, we had a lot of people tell us, well, I like Fake It, but I can't follow the rhythm, or I'm not sure the pattern that the Fake It feature is using. So what we did is we fixed it. So you could just touch a black key and hold it, and it would play. Then people said, well, we really like that, but we have to hold the black key down. Can't you make it easier than that? So then we fixed it so you could touch 2 black keys and take your hand off the keyboard and Fake It would take off. Well, then people told us, I want to be able to play while Fake It is playing. I don't want it to take over. Now we have all these different ways we can do it now. You can play it manually. You can press a black note and it will play it on its own. You can press 2 black notes and you can take your hand off the keyboard and it will play by itself. And now, Fake It will follow you as you play on the Grand Marquis. So you can do some fun things with this. I'm going to grab a style right here. A screen will pop up when you touch Fake It. Looks like this. And I can say whether I want it on my upper keyboard, my lower keyboard, or both. And so now it will follow you. Fun, huh? Yeah. Are there any questions at all? Yes?
Is that only on the ground?
That's on the Grand Marquis where it'll play, yeah, right. But it will, on the Marquis, you can touch 2 black notes and take your hands off, and it will,
But you can't play.
but you can't play along with it, right, yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, any other questions? All right. I think we have a break now. Right? It's lunchtime, is that what it is?
No. Sunday. Whoa.
All right. Well, anytime you have a question, please feel free, anytime, just come up to me and ask me a question at any time, okay? Doesn't have to be a workshop, all right? Thank you much, folks.
Hey.